Do you think you've seen all the Christmas movies out there? Think again. This list blends timeless classics with some movies you might not know. Let's get into the video, shall we? Number 1. The Snowman. This is a British animated television short film from 1982, and it's based on the wordless children's picture book by Raymond Briggs, which was first published in 1978. On Christmas Eve, a young boy builds a snowman, which comes to life at midnight. The snowman takes the boy on a magical flight to the North Pole, where they meet Father Christmas, who gives the boy a special gift. As the sun rises, the boy returns home, cherishing the unforgettable experience. First of all, this short film is fantastic. It's just as whimsical as you need it to be. And it's also part of the Finnish Christmas tradition, because it airs on December 24th, which is when Finns celebrate Christmas, and everybody watches it. Personally, I keep listening to Walking in the Air, which is the soundtrack of this short film. One of the things that sets this short film apart from other animated films is that it features pencil illustrations. And there is also a sequel, which was released in 2012, called The Snowman and the Snow Dog. But as I was looking more into it, I found that there's also The Bear, which was released by Howard Blake and still based on Raymond Briggs's work. And these are all gorgeous. I mean, they are 25 minutes each. They make a full-length movie altogether. But there's also Father Christmas, which again has the same style. But when I rewatched it just last week, I thought it wasn't as children-friendly as the others. I mean, at some point there's Santa Claus gambling in Las Vegas, so I don't know. Either way, The Snowman is a must-watch during Christmas, at least for me and for Finns. Number 2, That Christmas. This was just released on Netflix, and it's an animated Christmas fantasy comedy, which is based on Curtis's children's Christmas book trilogy, That Christmas and Other Stories. In Wellington-on-Sea, a historic snowstorm upends Christmas, disrupting plans across the town. Santa Claus himself makes an unexpected mistake, adding to the chaos. Through the turmoil, the holiday takes an unexpected turn, bringing the town closer together. As I said, this one came out in 2024, and you might have missed it because I think it was released like last week or something. And although Christmas releases on Netflix are quite debatable, I mean, I will share one more noticeable movie from them, but I was truly surprised by this one because, yes, it's contemporary, but it doesn't lack that whimsy and hope as well as struggles that you normally find in older Christmas movies. And while I was watching it, I thought about two things that were a bit off. One was the Cocomelon reference, and I thought, is this because of this Cocomelon thing that is going on online? If so, it's terrifying. I mean, if you have children, you probably know way more about this than I do, but I find terrifying that there is this kind of reference in a Christmas movie. And the second thing was that they mentioned Finland twice, and at some point it seems like Santa forgot about Finland, which is quite impossible. I mean, Santa's village is here in Finland, in Lapland, so it felt as if he had forgotten where he lives. I think some Finns might get a little bit offended by this, but okay. But I mean, it was literally the only thing that took me out of the story. Other than that, I will certainly rewatch this movie multiple times because it made me cry. It was not too cheesy, but also funny and relatable. And a huge shout out to all workers in health and hospitals and those who keep working during the holidays. I would say you should add this one to your watch list. You'll be surprised, and I want to hear your opinions after you watched it, so come back and leave a comment. Number 3, Klaus. This is a 2019 animated Christmas adventure comedy that was again released by Netflix, and this is the exception I was talking about. In a remote 19th century island town, a selfish postman is sent to restore the failing postal service. There, he meets Klaus, a reclusive toy maker, and the two form an unexpected bond. Together, they bring warmth and joy to a town long shrouded in cold and darkness. Here you see hand-drawn animation, which is becoming quite rare. And I was so shocked by this movie, first because I had no idea when it came out what it was, because, well, I didn't have Netflix, but I had never heard of it. And I just randomly found it at some point when I was on a plane and I was just looking for something to fall asleep, just to put in the background. But then I couldn't sleep because I had to know what's going on and I had to follow the plot. And again, this is truly emotional and so well crafted that I'm surprised it's not on everybody's watch list. It is different from other Christmas movies and animated movies. And finally, dare I say, because recent releases have been quite repetitive, right? Or think of the simple fact that we keep getting sequels of any movie or any story. So this was a pleasant surprise and you won't regret watching it this Christmas. Number 4, A Christmas Carol. Now, I don't know exactly which one to recommend because there are so many different adaptations that I'm gonna just probably mention a couple, but this is a Christmas fantasy as well as a ghost story, and it's based on Charles Dickens's 1843 novella of the same name. In Victorian London, miserly Ebenezer Scrooge dismisses Christmas as humbug, showing no kindness to his clerk or nephew. On Christmas Eve, the ghost of his late business partner warns him of 3 spirits who will visit that night. Guided through his past, present and future, Scrooge confronts his cruelty and discovers the true meaning of compassion. I think the adaptation I rewatched the most was the one with Mickey Mouse, so by Disney. I don't know if we had the cassette or something at home, and that was the reason. Then more recently came out the 2009 adaptation, still by Disney, but it was peculiar and got quite popular because of this motion capture technique that they used. And just last week I watched the 1999 adaptation starring none other than Sir Patrick Stewart himself. And seeing him as Ebenezer Scrooge is quite something. You can choose the adaptation you prefer, but all these movies are reminiscent of the tradition of telling ghost stories during the holiday season. And this, I think, is a bit lost. I don't know in how many countries or how many households this is still a tradition, but it used to be. And perhaps after watching the adaptation you choose, you could also check out The Man Who Invented Christmas from 2017, which is about Dickens writing A Christmas Carol. And it's just as beautiful and heartbreaking as the stories he writes about. Now, let's see if you watched the next one. Number 5. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. This is a Christmas family drama from 1991, and it's based on the story behind the widely reprinted editorial written in response to a letter by 8-year-old Virginia, who was asking whether Santa Claus was real back in 1897. In the late 1800s, during a challenging holiday season, young Virginia O'Hanlon writes to the New York Sun with a heartfelt question about Santa Claus. Her inquiry reaches the desk of a newspaper editor who is moved by her innocence. The exchange sparks a connection that brings warmth and hope during a difficult time. A large part of this movie portrays financial struggles as well as grief. I feel like this is a specific trope within the Christmas movie genre, and you will see more recommendations featuring this trope. This movie also shows the struggles of immigrants in particular. And I loved the actress who plays the little girl because she is so convincing. Have you ever watched this one? If not, add it to your watch list. Number 6. One Magic Christmas. This is a Christmas fantasy from 1985, and it features the same trope I just mentioned. As Christmas approaches, Ginny struggles to find holiday cheer due to her husband's unemployment and their modest life. Her daughter Abby sends a letter to Santa, leading to an encounter with Gideon, an angel sent to change Ginny's outlook. Through Gideon's guidance, Ginny learns that the true meaning of Christmas lies not in material things, but in the people she loves. This is again quite difficult to watch if you're struggling financially, as I am, but it's also quite relatable in the sense that, well, it was filmed in the 1980s, so it's a bit closer to us than the previous one. And I believe a lot of people can see themselves or understand the issues going on in this movie way better than other ones. And again, this might make you cry, and it's just as heartbreaking as it is heartwarming. Number 7, the Harry Potter series. Now, I seriously doubt you don't know anything about Harry Potter, but if you're one of those who do not rewatch Harry Potter yearly, this is for you. It's a fantasy series of films released between 2001 and 2011, and it's the adaptation of J.K. Rowling's popular children's books about Harry Potter. On his 11th birthday, Harry Potter learns he is the orphaned son of powerful wizards and possesses magical abilities. He attends Hogwarts, where he befriends others and uncovers the truth about his parents' death. Soon, he must face the dark evil that haunts the magical world. I cannot help but watch the entire series around Christmas. And even though it's not a Christmas series per se, 6 out of 8 movies feature Christmas scenes, both in and outside of Hogwarts. And perhaps this is mainly a millennial feature, or I don't know. But this has become one of those comfort series of movies to watch and watch over and over again, especially in this season. Number 8, The Preacher's Wife. This is a 1996 Christmas comedy drama, and it's a remake of the 1947 movie The Bishop's Wife, which in turn was based on the 1928 novel of the same name by Robert Nathan. A neglected preacher's wife receives guidance from a charming guardian angel sent to help her troubled husband. As the angel tries to assist the cleric through his midlife crisis, he finds himself falling for the reverend's wife. This unexpected complication leads to a tangled mix of emotions and divine intervention. I honestly don't know how popular this is, but it's starring Denzel Washington, Whitney Houston, and Courtney B. Vance. And if you're looking for gospel music, this is it. And if you notice, yet another trope you can find in Christmas movies is either an angel or a ghost or some other supernatural creature or element that intervenes in the story. I'm not an expert on folklore, but I think there's something about it. Number 9, You've Got Mail. I know. You might have it on your autumn watch list, but this was actually a Christmas movie. It's a romantic comedy, and it was released in 1998, but it was inspired by a 1937 Hungarian play. Kathleen Kelly, a small bookstore owner, dislikes Joe Fox, the owner of a new corporate chain across the street. They begin an anonymous online romance, unaware of each other's true identity. When Joe learns that the woman he's fallen for is his business rival, he must navigate the tension between their rivalry and their growing feelings. There's also an old adaptation, released in 1940 and called The Shop Around the Corner. And this is a Christmas movie. So you see what I mean? Yes, it starts in autumn. It actually develops over the year, but it also features Christmas and the madness that is shopping during the holiday season. But it doesn't really matter when you watch it. I prefer to watch it during the holidays. Number 10, It's a Wonderful Life. This is a Christmas supernatural drama from 1946, and it's based on the short story and booklet The Greatest Gift from 1943. After George Bailey wishes he had never been born, an angel is sent to show him what life would be like without him. George sees the consequences of his absence and the impact he's had on the lives of those around him. I think, again, this is extremely popular and you must have heard of it at least, if not watched it. And over the years, it has become increasingly difficult for me to watch because, again, it hits too close to home. But if you're looking for black and white classic movies to watch around this period, I will upload a video about it between Christmas and New Year's because that's when I watch black and white movies. So stay tuned if you're into that. Now I want your recommendations. What's your must-watch Christmas movie? And what would you want everybody to watch at least once? Let me know in the comments down below. Now that you have watched this, you might be interested in the cozy winter movies, which are not necessarily about Christmas. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.